KXLO Live. I'm your host today, Heidi, and I got Representative Shane Klakken on the phone line with House District 37. Good morning, Shane.
Good morning, Heidi.
How are you today?
Well, I'm pretty good. It's getting warmed up out here. We've got great activities going on here in the grass range today, which we'll talk about. And also, just want to give a logged in weekend review, kind of a repeat of last Friday for a little bit, and then go on daily after that.
All right. Yeah, you've been busy, and last week you was up in Helena for a couple days.
Yeah, last week I had a committee meeting on Thursday, and I was there till Friday, where I did the KXLO live last week from the Capitol lawn. I do want to repeat a little bit of what happened because I found some more information about that particular meeting I had with the MTech people about our statewide public communication safety system. If you don't mind me repeating that just a little bit.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
Okay, well, since last Friday, I've had other conversations with the folks who are in the know about the Montana statewide public radio communication system. And what I found out is that well, first of all, the statewide public communication radio system is something that we need to think about first responders, as far as fire, ambulance, police, and sheriff. And this system is the terrestrial antennas out here around the state. There's about 130 of them. Well, that program, that system runs out of money to maintain it and operate it in July of 2027. July 1st, 2027, that program is unfunded. And part of our local government interim committee meeting last week was to discuss what can be done about making sure it continues to be funded, but particularly funded at a level that is commensurate with the $3.75 million that is 2017 dollars with inflation adjusted. Well, the inflation adjusted number goes up to about 4.9 million. And the folks running the system says it's going to take about 5.23 million. And we need to trim that some, but I do think it's important that everybody understands that this system needs to work, because if we have an emergency, we want it to work. We want this first responders to be able to respond. Another portion of this system is the 911 call centers, where you call in to the call center and they evaluate what needs to happen. Then they use the statewide public communication system to broadcast out and get the first responders going. Well, with a phone call side of it is called a PSAP. And that's a public system access point where they take the calls and they can make calls. That whole system needs to be integrated. Now, how we fund that right now is with your $1 per line fee that you have to pay on your cell phone and landline bill. Well, that $1 is in even older dollars, and about 2007, 2009. So that $1 is not going as far as it used to go. And we're looking at ways to bolster that, not necessarily increase that $1, but what we have available to us to add to that annual collection of $16 million to run those 64 systems around the state is we have a government opportunity trust fund that is supposed to fund infrastructure. So that's my goal, is to see if we can get money out of that government opportunity trust fund that was formed last legislative session by House Bill 924. And this is significant infrastructure. This is emergency responses. So I believe we can get money that way without increasing your $1 fee. That's my goal. And with that, the rest of that is the next gen 911, which increases the capabilities of that system to modern. Right now, when part of that system breaks down, we can't even either find the parts or the technical expertise on how to fix them and install them. So we need to upgrade that to modern capabilities. Right now, the system works, but there's portions of the system that does not work. And right now, we don't see a bad degradation. But if we don't maintain it, don't fund it, that will become a problem. Going on to the next topic, Saturday, I was able to actually attend the Fergus County Fair for the only 2 days of the entire time. I got to drive the People Mover, and that was actually quite a bit of fun. It was warm, 2 to 4 p.m. Then, as you know, during the demolition derby, we had a heck of a wind come through there. and it blew down the Republican tent, which ended up in a pile, and some other damage that happened around, but nobody lost anything. And but big takeaway about that about that day is, as you know, it's the last day. It's been a week almost already. It's time is flying. I think Einstein's right. Einstein said that time accelerates. I'm pretty much believing that. Then on Sunday, most of us from the Community Christian Fellowship Church went to Lewistown to watch the matinee of Young Washington. Now, that was extra special in my mind because seeing it and knowing the history behind that time period, the Revolutionary War time period, the early age of George Washington, it was historically accurate, except for one scene. That actual scene in real life took place 15 years later, but they put it into the movie where George Washington was evaluated by the local Native American chief who said, "All my warriors, I've directed them to shoot you, and none of them hit you. You are divinely protected." And that actually did happen in real life. Now, there wasn't a very important meeting, a Zoom meeting with the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks on Monday about the grizzly bear management. Grizzly bear management is a big thing, big deal. This is not delisting, but what this grizzly bear management has done is shifted where we locals, when we have a grizzly bear encounter, who do we go to? We no longer have to go up the chain, up the federal government side. Now we can go stay in state to the Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and get the state in this memorandum, this agreement that has come down, that the state be more involved in the management of the bear. We are still not authorized to do any hunting. We're still not authorized to basically take care of the problem on site, but we go to the FWP. It's a quicker route. And there's more issues involved with that, but that's a quick down and dirty. But the FWP director did say something that resonated, and it should resonate with all of us. That is, one reason the bears are coming out on the prairie as far as they are is the fact that our forests are not managed. And what that means is the bears are coming out after their prey. Their prey are not living in the forest anymore because the forest just is an unlivable spot. And we need to get back to timber management so that their prey, their food source, can actually live in the mountains where they used to. So they're coming out also. The Tuesday meeting at the Fergus County Courthouse was actually a proceeding with a judge via remote, not our local district judge. It was another judge, in which the Springwater Apartments was on the docket, and the plaintiffs wanted to stop that construction. Well, the judge did not rule in favor of the plaintiffs. That construction was not stopped. So the Springwater apartment complex on 8th and Spring is continuing. In fact, the week before they started digging, and the day of that hearing, they were putting down foundations. And interestingly, the guy, the developer investor who was there, he was called to the stand and he testified. But afterwards, to his credit, he stayed there. And as people were filing out, he turned around and said, "I want to talk to you folks. We need to see how we can get along on this deal." And he stayed there for quite a while, 45 minutes to an hour, talked to everybody. And as people were leaving, they said, "This is really good." He could have just turned around and walked out. And he didn't. He stayed and he listened to us. It was good of him to do that. Now, does that mean he's going to change his mind and decide to cancel this project or move it somewhere else? No. But work better with the community on figuring out how to address their concerns. Wednesday,
Shane,
yeah,
question on that. You still continuing with the 40-unit apartment?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
yep. On Wednesday, the Snowy Mountain Development Corporation had a meeting with the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. There was, I don't know, I didn't even count. I should have counted, but probably 20 people there. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay the whole time because I had an event down in Billings I had to go to. But I stayed for about an hour, and they discussed many things like what's going on economically here, drought, how some rules are in terms of a builder wanting to do something, how those increase the cost and where the money is coming from, the interest rates on the money. I'd like to see the notes from that meeting because I think there are some things that are actionable. On that night, went to Billings, came back, did my Constitution class at the Central Baptist Church at 6 p.m. I invite anybody to come to that. You don't have to have started from the beginning. Each one of these 8 in a series is self-contained. We have completed 4 in the series of 8. So next Wednesday at 6 p.m. at Central Baptist Church is the 5th installment of that 8 series. So please come by. Many people, well, I shouldn't say many, half a dozen people at the fair asked me about it and they were interested in coming. And so please come. And yesterday, Thursday, was the first day I was actually able to go out to the ranch to do some work that needs to be done out there. I'm preparing logs, firewood logs for load out on a log truck. Yes, folks, there is firewood still available and it's free. All you got to do is come get it. Everything you can put in a dump trailer, 16.5 foot lengths, or if you want to chunk it up into smaller chunks, firewood length, you can do that too. And of course, you mentioned earlier today, the Grass Range Community Coalition put together a garage sale here in Grass Range, started at 10, and we're going to have the ability to have hot dogs 11 to 3. But a big event coming through is a convoy of 45 historic military vehicles that start out today from Winnett to here, and they should be stopping here around noon here in Grass Range, spend a few minutes, and then on their way to Lewistown, and they will be in Lewistown to remain overnight tonight in Lewistown. I believe they're going to be on the street there by the American Legion. So with that, Heidi, that's a wrap up for the things that has happened since last Friday. And there's just a plethora of information there, and people can, go to my webpage, ShaneKlakken.com, sign up for my newsletter. I keep people up to date. This video that I'm making while I'm on KXLO Live will be posted to my Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and that's Shane Klakken from Montana on all those platforms. So I appreciate having the time, Heidi. If there's any questions.
No, I don't. You answered the one question, the 40-unit apartment. I figured that they hadn't changed the size of that.
No.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Shane?
People can get a hold of me. Call me at my cell phone, 406-217-6107. And I did receive a call yesterday that I do want to pass on. I have received several calls about the homestead exemption and folks not getting that in because they didn't hear about it or didn't understand its importance or whatever, and the property tax bill went up. I got a call about that yesterday. Unfortunately, there's nothing this tax cycle we can do about it. But if you're in that situation, they're very helpful up there in the courthouse at Department of Revenue and Assessor's Office. Danielle is very good at answering questions. And unfortunately, in arrears, the their hands are tied in terms of a remedy for those who didn't get the homestead exemption put in. So we do need to make sure that we get around to everybody that if you didn't do that, you're an absentee owner, and you probably won't hear this or see this. We had a gentleman living in Georgia that has 4 or 5 apartments, maybe more in Lewistown, and his tax bill went up big time. And he called me, and from a law standpoint, that law, the property tax reform, does not give a remedy for if you missed the deadline. So just all we can do is encourage you to go make sure you have that. Go visit them in person up there at the courthouse in Fergus County Courthouse, Department of Revenue. They'll help you fill the paperwork out. They've done it.
Okay. All right. Anything else, Shane?
Again, they can call me 406-217-6107. 406-217-6107, and also ShaneKlakken.com and all my social media, Shane Klakken for Montana, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And thank you.
All right. And I will be right back after this.